We had Samson David there to chat to a few moments ago, and we were saying, was there sort of a sigh of relief or a few high fives after you got the job done on Saturday? Obviously, no one celebrates avoiding relegation, but nevertheless, a relief to dig themselves out of the hole they were in.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't over the top. It was probably a sense of accomplishment of getting that done, and a bit of pride in that, but very much looking forward and about what we now do this week and what we do building into the last game and then on to next season. So there hasn't been any drop in the levels in training. It's been a really good week. The players, in terms of their mentality and approach, I haven't seen any shift in that, which is great. And we want to maintain the run that we've got and continue the good form going into the weekend.
Yeah, as Samson said, obviously we take great delight in the performances and the fact we're scoring goals, but he did say that 10 unbeaten was almost a mantra around the place at the moment. Yeah,
we've been setting targets and we're on a good run. We've got 2 games to go and we want to finish the season unbeaten, hopefully winning both of these last 2 games. And for me, that needs to be the mentality regardless. If you pick and choose your games or your stages of the season that you turn up and play, then you're not going to be successful long term. You need to be turning up with the right mentality and the right attitude and wanting to win every single day if we as a group and we as a club are going to move forward.
Since you came in, was there ever a moment, and I probably know what the answer is, I don't know why I'm asking it, but I'll ask it, was there ever a moment where you thought, actually, blimey, this is a bit closer than I was expecting it to get to. This is a bit worrying?
I wouldn't say worrying. I think I made some changes after the Stockport game in terms of looking at what the strengths of the group are and what was going to give us the best possible chance in this run. I think it would have been wrong from our perspective as a coaching staff to coming in to change too much too soon and ask maybe people to do things that they're not used to doing or are new to them at this stage of the season. So we've kept what we think the strengths of the group are, and it's some really good strengths there and a really good group. And then we've added to that, and we've focused on the areas that we felt were going to have the biggest impact in that short run of games. And from looking at the group, I wouldn't say I was ever concerned, because your concerns would maybe be we've not got great characters here, or the attitude's not great, or we're not playing well. And there was none of those things. It was, this is a really good group, they're hard working, they're committed, performances have been pretty good, even when we weren't getting the wins for those 4 draws. I was always confident that it would turn because of what I was seeing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and goals obviously as well. The fact you scored 4 in each of your last 2 games, it looks a bit more free flowing, and seems the players are enjoying it more. And with that is coming the creativity that you crave.
Absolutely, creativity for me comes from structure. If you're structured and everyone's on the same page, then from that players can be freer and more creative. That sort of notion of play with freedom off of just randomness, for me, doesn't work. No one knows what anyone's doing, and it becomes a mess. So we have a structure that we work to with and without the ball, but within that, players know that they've got then the freedom to express themselves, and front players know they can take risks in certain areas and at certain times, because the rest of the team is set up around them to accommodate that.
And giving young players, we know the club is based around his academy and wants to push players through, but giving young players responsibility, the fact that you're using Samson David to spearhead things alongside whoever you decide to choose, Julian Chandler, Will Greenwich, et al., giving responsibility to those youngsters with some experience in there as well. Yeah,
for me, I've never looked at age at all as a coach or as a manager, in that for me, I'm going to pick what I think is the best team for each game and those that most deserve to be on the pitch. So we've got a nice mix in terms of experience within the side. Taking that front two as an example, you've got the experience of John with the youth of Samson, and it's forming a really good partnership at the moment. But regardless of age, it's about the players getting better, and we would do as much development with the senior players as we will do with the younger ones. It's about everyone getting better, everyone improving, and taking the team forward as best we can.
Fantastic week for Julian Chandler, and we've seen him grow here, and he's adding goals to his game as well. But fantastic week for him to be recognised, and the club as well.
Yeah, I was really pleased for Junior. Lovely accolades for him and for his family. And I know that his dad was with him at the awards, which I'm sure was a very proud moment. And he's had a really good development path here, to the amount of games he's played at such a young age and the amount that he's improving and will continue to improve. Even the short time I've been at the club, he constantly wants to learn, he constantly wants to improve. His attitude's fantastic, and there's lots more to come that we can still add and develop in his game.
Is he going to be difficult to hold on to?
We'll see. Listen, for me, I'd love to keep him. Absolutely. I think there's so much more that we can add and help him add to his game and improve. But like any player, you know, every player has got a price that obviously becomes attractive for the club that's selling. So we'll see in the summer. I would very much hope that he's here next season and I'm able to call upon him. But as with every player, we have to see how that goes over the summer.
On that, I think there's something like 14 players out of contract in the summer. Clearly, the club has options on several. Have you even started that work yet?
We had a sort of a coaching staff meeting yesterday just to start discussing it, and then I've got a technical board meeting today and then next Thursday with the chairman, with the board, to go through all of those options, to look at each player individually, and then decide on what we do moving forward.
Doncaster this Saturday. I mean, we know how they like to play. We've seen them this season. Colchester had a very good win against them this season, but they're 9 without a win. So an opportunity for you to go up there and maintain this run.
Absolutely, they've still got good players within their squad, and a lot of their games I've been watching recently, they're very close. They're very close games, and it hasn't been even spells of pressure sometimes from opposition teams. It's just been a lapse in concentration or a mistake that's cost them. So they've got some technically good players. They try and play. They stick to what they're doing, which is fantastic. But for me, the focus is very much on us, making sure that our levels are right again and our performance is right. And if we do that, we can obviously go there and win the game and keep this good run going.
No idea at all of you experimenting?
No, listen, the run we're on and players doing as well as they can, I'm going to pick who deserves to play, and there's things obviously that I'm looking at in training and would like to look at in games, but this isn't the time for that. We'll be trying to win both of these last 2 games, starting with Doncaster before we even start to look at Mansfield.
Yeah, because just finally for me, obviously you've got players on the periphery, players coming back, and a return for Tom Dallison as well. I'm sure was chomping at the bit to get out and play because he's had a frustrating time.
Yeah, it was a really good few days for Tom. So back in training last week, full training. Obviously came on Saturday and got some minutes in the first team, and then completed 90 minutes on Monday for the under 21. So really good for him to push him back on, and he's looked stronger again this week now. And that's what we've got to do when players are coming back, is get them up to speed as quickly as possible, and then they've got to fight and challenge every day to prove they are better than what's in the team and try and get that shirt when the opportunity comes.